Oh my gosh. Okay, I think we're live. Are we live? Are we not live? I'm not really sure. Let me check. It looks like we're live. Yes, we are. That's crazy. Okay, yeah, we are live right now. That is good to see. Geez, I haven't done this in a while. Okay, especially like with my face out like this. Normally I don't have face cam on when I stream. This is cool. Okay, cool. Let's figure out how to share this, right? Uh, yup. Let me, which one should I use? Jeez, LinkedIn. Get all my professional friends up in here. That'll be so fun. Cool. Uh, yep. Cool. I'll send it to myself. Cool. Yup, straight up. Okay. So now we have that. And now I'm gonna do something very planned, very fun, and basically just like text this to some of my friends because when you go live, you just want to make sure all the boys are here. You know what I mean? Probably should have had one of those screens that's like stream will start soon, but I don't play by those rules. So let me let me just do the good old fashioned sweet. How do I post a link? I forget. This is tough. Uh, does that just work? No. Okay, wait. I what is this? No. Jeez. Okay. There we go. There we go. There we go. Got it. Cool. Boom. Yup. Did I do it? Yes. Yes. Let's go. Let's go. Sweet. Okay. Okay, cool. Sweet. All right, I think that's about it. I just had to bug some of my friends to get them on the stream, but man, we're here. We're here. Yay! I haven't posted on this channel in forever, let me tell you. It has been whew, I think other than school projects, it's been 5 years now, which is crazy. I used to post just funny stuff on here, maybe stuff to do with school, especially in high school. We had a bunch of like videos we had to make, and I just post them on here for fun. And I made some like one-off videos every now and then. I tried one summer to, I guess, get into that scene, but it never really came into fruition, which is okay. But that's where we're at. And so I thought I'd make this little stream just to kind of show you guys what I've been doing, one of my biggest things, and something that I kind of want to talk about a little bit. Because I like ranting. I like long form content where you can just sit back, relax, do whatever. And so put this on if you're, I don't know, like making food, sleeping, on the toilet, whatever it is. Just put this on, enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoy this little rant. So, something that I've been doing as of recently, as of late, what am I talking about? Something I've been doing as of late is I've been watching a movie every single day in 2025 as a part of my 2025 media odyssey. This is a big thing that I've been planning for the better half of a year. And so ever since that has been planned, I've thought of basically this year doing as much media as possible, TV shows, movies, video games, whatever I want, and trying to go through that and really like going down the list, I guess you could say. And so I've been trying, that's kind of in my face. I've been trying to like get in the habit of that and doing that. And so far it's been pretty good. And I have watched a movie every day for over 2 months now, which is amazing. I wasn't sure how long it was going to last because sometimes with these, hey Spanky, I'm going to guess that is James. Is that James? I have no clue. Fountain. Who is Fountain? It's hilarious. But anyways, yeah, I've been watching a movie every day, which is so fun. And today I kind of just wanted to talk about them. I don't know, just kind of rant and talk about some movies I've been watching and my thoughts on them and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and transition. Whoop! Okay, cool. Now we're in Chrome. Welcome. But let's go up here. I make spreadsheets pretty often because I'm a loser, right? And so this is like fun for me. So this is my entire spreadsheet. I'll kind of just give a overview of it over here. These are movies I have watched slash will plan to watch and stuff that I've thought about it. And this is another column for movies I haven't watched and ones that I haven't planned yet. And the reason why there's a lot over here is because there's a lot of movies that I have on my list that I want to watch that I haven't exactly planned. Like if we go down the list, we'll see a bunch of blanks, right? And so eventually I'm going to put them on the list or something like that. These up here were planned and they were put off because either they haven't been on Blu-ray yet or something else. Like I didn't want to watch them. For example, I forget why, but I had Groundhog Day with those, but all four of these up here are all like war movies, and I had them right here, and I forget why I put them off. Maybe it was because I don't have any animated movies, and I love watching animated movies once a week just for fun. Have you seen Hateful Eight? No, I haven't. I haven't seen Hateful Eight. I haven't heard of it. Let me look it up actually for funsies. I have an iPad in my way. I don't know what this is doing here. Let me move that. Hateful Eight. Oh yeah, I've heard about that one. Quentin Tarantino. Yep. I love Quentin Tarantino. I'll get into that in a second, but I haven't seen it. I really want to because Samuel L. Jackson is the GOAT, of course, and this movie looks so good. I've seen other Quentin Tarantino movies like Kill Bill 1 and 2. Uh, Back in the day, I watched a little bit of Pulp Fiction, really liked it, never watched the whole thing. And of course, I've seen Inglorious Bastards. That's what the name of it is. Yep. Okay, cool. So I've seen those. Quentin Tarantino's a great director. He's amazing. And I love Walton Goggins. He's my favorite Community character, of course. But it's just the best. It's the best. And so let's go back to here. The kind of format I want to do for this, I kind of just want to rant about my January movies. Of course, I've already watched my February movie, spoiler alert, and they were great-ish. And I'll talk about them like another time. But right now I want to talk about January so I can kind of segment this a little more. Because at 12:30, I'm going to call my parents and I'm going to eat. And so I want to make sure that I can manage my time well and do that and also do this. So ran over, but good night. See you all later. No, I'm kidding. But we're going to look through my January movies. So starting with number one, Fight Club. Fight Club was so good. Oh my gosh. First movie of the year. Started off with an absolute bang, right? This movie's so great. Basically, you have these two characters, which I do not remember any character names. They were one-off movies I watched every day that like I may remember some things, but I will not remember their names. So Edward Norton and Brad Pitt, those are the actors, of course. They are amazing. But we have the narrator and Tyler Durden. Did he never got a name, I guess. What? Yeah, because it was all from first person. I guess they never sent any names. But Fight Club's great. There's a big twist in it that I was not expecting. I went into this movie thinking it was just going to be some guys beating each other up, maybe some stuff like that. For some reason, I kind of thought it would be similar to Divergent. I don't know why, but maybe like this weird type of dystopian, even though it's still grounded in reality, of course, but this maybe weird like dystopia where a bunch of people are fighting each other and it's like a new world or something like that, which I thought that's what it would be like. It wasn't like that. It was way better. In this movie, I'm gonna kind of go spoiler free, but there's a huge twist in this movie that is insane. One that I am so glad I never heard of. I'm so thankful to never hear about this twist. It blew my freaking mind, but it is amazing. It is so good. And I've never really seen a lot of movies with Brad Pitt in it, which is funny because he's like everywhere. Never really saw a bunch of Brad Pitt. But after watching this movie, I want to watch everything. Edward Norton, I really like him. I'll get to more in a second, but Edward Norton, after seeing this one, I really like him in this movie. He's like the guy for Fight Club, literally. Um, Quick synopsis of this movie is basically this guy who I guess doesn't have a name. He has a really boring life, right? Going to work every day. And of course, like I love my job. I'm currently working full time for the first time in my life, like for a job that actually matters. No offense, other than like summer jobs and stuff. But I'm working full time, right? And a lot of people talk about the monotony of going to work every day. And I remember seeing that and I was like, holy crap, is this what it's going to be like? Of course, it's not like that. It's a lot better. But basically, this main character who doesn't have a name, he literally goes to work every single day and he's all depressed and sad. Then he meets this guy named Tyler Durden who introduces him to this new world of having fun and kicking back and letting all your masculine energy go, basically, is how the movie puts it. And it's a great movie. It's really fun. I loved it. I gave it a 9.5 off the rip, and I said top 10, which is crazy for me to say, but top 10. Outstanding twist, great universe and characters, made me think hard. That is true. That twist, for some reason, movie twists, other than, I guess, looking in their world, sometimes I look in our own world and how we interpret that and how it could manifest into the world that we live in. And after thinking about this one, I was like, holy crap, this is so true. Some people are like this. And of course, without talking about the twist, it's kind of hard to do. But if you've seen the movie, you will definitely know the type of stuff that I'm referring to. So, yeah. Fight Club was great. I loved Fight Club. Everyone should watch this movie. Now, yesterday, I had this movie in my second of the year, right? Yesterday, 2019. And always wanted to watch this movie in 2019 in one of my many film classes. We watched the trailer for this, and I remember seeing this, and I was like, this movie looks great. I saw this trailer, and I saw Soul, and I thought this movie was miles better than Soul. I watched Soul. We may get to that either in this video or in the next. Who knows? But basically, yesterday is this really, really charming story where our main character, whose name is Jack Malik, that's true. His name is Jack Malik. He's this guy who really likes music his entire life, never really found much success. And no one really gives him the time of day, especially with his gigs. Like he has this one gig, I think, at this carnival or something with like a few kids around who are just ignoring him, right? And so that's kind of what he's like. And yesterday is a great movie at the beginning and through this, right? Because there's this twist. I can say this because this isn't a spoiler. This is the whole premise of the movie. There's this big electrical shock throughout the entire world, and everything powers off for a little bit, and everyone forgets that the Beatles exist. This is a really cool interpretation of a phenomenal plot line to a movie. And whenever I say that, I mean in theory, right? In theory, this movie would be great. This movie would be amazing. Everyone would love this movie because it's a cool story. It's what if we forgot an entire musician or band, in this case, a band, we forgot that they existed, right? And someone remembered, and then they came along, sang the same songs, basically implying that if this band never existed, would their songs still be as popular if someone completely different performed them? In this movie, the answer is a million times yes. It would be really cool to see a universe where this plot didn't go as well as it did in the movie. I think that would serve the premise way better. It would be way, way, way cooler of a movie, right? Because it is cool. Basically, Jack Malik, Jack Malik, after performing some Beatles songs for his friends who are like, this is great. Then he goes to a recording studio with this like indie producer, and they make some demos, and everyone loves it. Then he keeps moving up, moving up, moving up, and he never stops, right? He never stops. Ed Sheeran's in the movie. It's funny. Ed Sheeran's hilarious. But that's basically the whole premise of this movie, right? He gets really popular, and of course he meets John Lennon eventually, which is cool. That's the coolest movie of the scene, I would say. Coolest scene of the movie. But yeah, it's pretty great. But this girl, Ellie, I think it said her name was, she plays too much of an essential role in this movie, I think, because it is a rom-com. It turns into a romance movie. And I don't think that serves the plot well. I think it just drives a wedge in between everything. Because with a lot of rom-coms, you will see that first priority is we have these two characters, and eventually we need to merge them together, and they need to fall in love some way. Of course, some conflict in the middle, but that's our number one thing with this movie. But I think Yesterday would have done so much better if, instead of sidelining this career of Jack Malik, and it actually focused more on maybe the struggles he has or something like that. Because the way that it sidelines, right? Jack Malik's entire career seems like this B plot, you know, something that we don't really care about. And that sucks, because that is the coolest part of the movie. And the rom-com, the romance part, eventually becomes the number one plot line. At the end, the ending sucks. The ending's so bad. And it also has that one actress who's on SNL who I really don't like, Kate McKinnon. I never liked Kate McKinnon. She's corny in my opinion. You know, anything she's in, I just don't like it. No offense to her. Bet she's a great person. She's hilarious sometimes, especially in like interviews and stuff where it's not sketch comedy or something where she's acting in. She's charming and such, but basically in this movie she doesn't play a good role. She's this like whacked out producer who just cares too much, I guess. And it's weird. It's weird. And this movie's cool, but ultimately the selling point becomes a sideline story that they don't really care about that should have had a lot more attention placed to it, and it would have been way cooler. Movie would have been a million times better if Jack Malik remembers all this stuff and he performs, and then he finds out that the Beatles were special and he may not be as special. And then maybe he uses this music instead of, okay, wait, oh my gosh, okay, I got it. Instead of ripping the songs word for word and everything from it, he doesn't find success. But then he uses this as inspiration to make his own stuff, his own style, and maybe like revamp some music that he was performing before the Beatles. And he eventually becomes maybe either popular or kind of an indie type of artist. But that would have served the movie way better. But yeah, yesterday, crazy. Let's go to the next one, Sonic the Hedgehog. Actually, let me say what I said about yesterday. 6.5 out of 10, good premise, bad execution. The story was boring in the second half. Like I said, that second half of the story, just didn't really care about. Sonic the Hedgehog, I'll read the rating and synopsis first. 6 out of 10, cute, not much substance, pretty bored throughout. The characters were not half bad. Sonic the Hedgehog. Man, okay. So this movie, it's cute. It's a cute kids movie. If I was a kid and this came out, I'd freak out. Same with the Mario movie, right? These two are some really freaking good animated kids movies about video game characters, which are always so charming and so cool because of this long history we have. We have so much room for Easter eggs and stuff. And this movie's great. It becomes kind of a buddy cop movie, which I don't love. I like the premise. It's cool. And eventually Sonic goes up against Eggman, aka Jim Carrey, the GOAT, and they fight and such. But like I said, didn't really have much substance beside that. It was cute. It definitely set up the other movies well, I will say that. But if you're watching Sonic 2, haven't watched Sonic 3 yet, I will go ahead and say, I've seen Sonic 2 though. If you're watching Sonic 2, you'll look back at this movie more fondly because Sonic is a much better character in that new movie, right? But in this original, it introduces Sonic, introduces the world. It's kind of weird because there's this fantasy world at the beginning. Then he gets dropped into, I think, like Montana, USA or something. So yeah, it's a weird type of plot, but it's not bad. It's not bad. And I kind of like how it was kept simple. It was pretty cute, but ultimately it is a movie that is forgetful, which may sound crazy because I know a lot of people really like the Sonic movies, but this movie, I could throw it away and I'd be good. You know, if I just watched Sonic 2, I'd be all good. That movie is great. Great. Yeah, I'm going to talk about it in a little bit. But yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog, yeah, not too good. Shaun of the Dead. Ooh, okay. Yeah, January 4th. I was going hard January 4th. Shaun of the Dead. 8.5 out of 10. Outstanding premise and character study. I did not feel much towards the side characters, but Sean's journey was great. Very, very, very true. One of my favorite things that movies do is they give us these wacky premises, right? Wacky, absolutely insane storylines, but they keep it grounded in reality. And this movie did so good at it. And when I'm thinking back, of course, sometimes maybe my ratings will change in my head. I'm not going to change it on the list though, because I do this like right after I watch it. But Shaun of the Dead, I look back very, very, very fondly. This is a fun movie. It's a zombie movie. It is hilarious. It is so endearing and cute. And it is pretty wholesome because this main character, Sean, deadbeat guy, he wants to get out of this rut that he's in, but he can't. And there's some characters like his best friend, Ed. Ed, this guy. He's also stuck in a rut, just like dead end job, doesn't really care about anything, but he's cool with it. And then there's this other guy, maybe Pete, I forget who, but there's this guy who like lives by them or with them or something. But yeah, I forget his name. But he has it all put together, and Sean kind of wants to be like him a little bit. And that's this internal conflict that we get. It is presented really, really, really well. And once the zombie action starts, Sean is just basically cocoons from this wimpy, scared individual into someone who blossoms into a brave soul, someone who really cares about his friends and family, of course, and someone who can kill some zombies. And it is fun. The one of my favorite gags that movies have. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play anything in this video because I don't want it to get destroyed or anything. But basically in Shaun of the Dead, they do this thing where they're like, let's go over the plan. Then you see jump cuts, do, of what the plan's going to be. It's like, we're going to go to Ma's house. We're going to meet with her. We're going to go this way. Then we're going to go to the bar and drink a cup of coffee and everything will be good. And then it like changes and it's hilarious. It's the funniest scene of the movie. And it is done so well. And so many TV shows and movies have aped this, and they've put it in their own context and redone it, redid it, remastered it, whatever. And it is just so funny. And I think Shaun of the Dead may have been the first movie to do that, which is crazy. If not, it was the movie that perfected it because I've heard people talk about it and it is so good. This movie is outstanding. There are certain movies like Fight Club, for example, of course, is like I want to drop everything right now and watch it, right? That's a must see. Shaun of the Dead's also a must see. A little less than Fight Club, I will say. It's not going to get that same rating in my head, but this movie's great. I love Shaun of the Dead. Outstanding. Next up, we got Clueless. Oh, yeah, yeah. 8 out of 10. And this first word is one that I want to emphasize with these type of movies. Of course, I've seen Legally Blonde, I've seen Mean Girls, but Clueless is like the third in that Triforce, I'd say, of like these fun, girly chick flick type of movies. Clueless, right? 8 out of 10. Comfortable. Comfortable. Man, similar to Mean Girls and Legally Blonde in all the way, all the right ways. Jeez, the ending was extremely fast paced, though. That is true. So Clueless is a cute movie. It's adorable, right? This actress who I forget her name, but she's outstanding. Alicia Silverstone. Yes, she is so good. Paul Rudd's in this, of course. Great, great actor, right? Oh yeah, and what's his name from Scrubs? I forget. It's a funny name. Hold up. It's like it starts with a T, I think. Turk. Yeah, yeah, Turk. Turk from Scrubs. I haven't seen all of Scrubs. I saw a little bit of it. I want to watch the whole thing right now. But Clueless is so cute. Basically, it's a weird premise once I say it out loud. But this girl is the most popular in school. She, of course, is dumb. She has a rich dad, and life just kind of hands stuff to her, and she's kind of going through the motions. But in this way, it's not as depressing. It's more so like everything is laid out for her, so she's good with it. You know, she's just living her life, whatever. But of course, in that internal conflict, same with Shaun of the Dead, eventually someone realizes that they want to blossom into more, right? And this girl who, her name's like Cher, right? Yeah, Cher, which is hilarious. but Cher, our main character, right? She eventually wants to become more than that. And she's looking for love, of course. She goes on dates, I believe, or something like that throughout this entire movie. And eventually she finds out that her, I want to say like somewhat of a brother, which is weird. They're not related. I think it was like a marriage. I'm pretty sure like dad and mom got married and then they may be step siblings. I forget. It's not weird. It's not, they're not step, they're not half, they're not full siblings. They're none of that. But it is a lot less weird than I say. These two who live in the same house because of circumstances. And eventually she finds out that he's the one that she wants, and it is cute. But I will say that ending did feel rushed. Like we get so much of Cher throughout this entire movie, but the ending with her falling in love did seem a little clunky. I did like how it ended though, so I'm cool with that. Yeah. I gave it, yeah, an 8 out of 10, which is crazy. That's a high rating. I just love those type of movies. Oh my gosh. Get ready for the video essay. Oh, January 6th, Moonlight, 9 out of 10. A movie for movie nerds. I don't know why I put that. Oh no way, live spinach. What up, Tom? How you doing? Welcome to the party. If you've seen any of these movies or anything, let me know. But I'm just gonna be ranting about these movies. But dude, it is great seeing you, Tom. You are a legend among men. Yeah, movie for movie nerds. I was entranced and lost at oh, I was entranced and lost all thought at times. Great story, even better protagonist. I like the three parts. Yeah, so Moonlight is an outstanding movie. It's so good. It is about this main character named uh Chiron. That's right, Chiron, right? Three parts. Lol, love to be here. Thank you, Tom. You're the best. But yeah, it's this main character named Chiron, three different parts of his life: his early childhood, his teen years, and then eventually his like 20s and 30s ish. I think like late 20s. But it's this really cool story of how Mahershala Ali, the best actor of all time, is a side character in like the first part, and I love him. He's so good. This is the famous scene, the swimming scene. It's so great. But basically, three parts. This little kid whose mom is a drug addict, right? She's a drug addict, and she doesn't really have much guidance. And this is a good picture of him when he was a kid. That's him right there, Chiron. But didn't really have that much guidance. Didn't really know what he was doing. And dog, I know you ain't done with work. Is that Kaylee? What up? How you doing? Yes, I am done. I get done at 10:30s on Sundays and Saturdays. Kaylee, yep. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Yeah, I am done. It's great. But any hoozles and bean boozles. Chiron is this beautiful character. He is guided by this guy right here, Mahershala Ali, whatever his character's name is, and he sees what it's like to really be a man, which is cool. It's a really masculine movie where it also teaches you to embrace your feminine side a little bit, I will say. Yeah, I'm on Will's, and I know, but I'm still here, so you can't be. That's hilarious. Yeah, you can you can chain me down and make me work. Whatever. That sounds weird. I anyways, whew. So yeah, Chiron. Then when he became a teenager after having a childhood, pretty like normal childhood, aside from his mother being a drug addict, right? When he became a teenager, he eventually made this really good friend, and they were like best friends, right? And they go down to the beach, and these two guys basically do stuff with each other, right? Whoa, what? And so that happens, and eventually this guy who is Chiron's friend, what is his name? This is important. That's what they look like when they're teenagers, by the way. What's his name? Kevin. Yeah, so Chiron and Kevin, they do stuff, and they're like best friends. And then Chiron goes back to school after all this happened, and Kevin is told by the cool kids like beat up Chiron. He's nothing basically. Like he's like the skinny teenager who like no one likes. And so Kevin beats him up, even though after they like kissed and did stuff. And so it really makes us hate Kevin as a character. But then eventually Chiron goes into school and grabs, I think, a chair, like a desk or something, and literally slams it on this guy's head. Just slams it, which is crazy. And it is an intense scene for sure. And that's what Chiron is as a teenager. Of course, we learn more about his mother's drug habits, which sucks. It's terrible. She like shakes him down for money so intensely one day. It made me uncomfortable. I think it makes everyone uncomfortable, of course. But once Chiron grows up, he becomes this new character nicknamed Black. That's his nickname in the movie, and he's a drug dealer. He's really built, has big muscles. He's a really masculine guy, right? And there's a scene where someone who is his underling, who I guess is out on the streets, is giving him his money, and Black's like intimidating him so much, right? So it seems like he really embraced his masculine, his aggressive, his leadership-ish side, whatever you call that. I forget the word, but he embraces that side of him. And he becomes this character who we really don't like anymore, which sucks, right? Because Chiron was so sensitive and so great at the beginning, but now he's like this hard baller player type of character. And eventually he gets calls Kevin in another city, maybe Atlanta or something, I forget exactly. But he goes and meets him, and we realize it's still Chiron in there, which is great. It's this beautiful scene where they're meeting with each other in a dinner, like a dinner place, and it's adorable. It's great, and I was like, it's amazing. And Chiron, aka Black, kind of intersect with each other, and he embraces his new self, but also takes into account his old self. And this movie's just great. It's like I said, the three parts are outstanding, where you see his development. And I just love this movie. It's so good. I always heard amazing things about it. Of course, this is the famous movie. If any of you were fans of the Oscars back in the day with Best Picture, we had a Best Picture for 2016, La La Land. And then they went up and said, the card says Moonlight. That's this movie. It beat La La Land, which is crazy because La La Land's amazing. I've seen that one, and Whiplash. I love Whiplash. But yeah, Moonlight is outstanding. Love this movie. Yeah, 9 out of 10. Maybe higher in my mind now. It has definitely stayed with me. Next up, we have the first in my Marvel marathon, like week to week. Every Tuesday, I watch a new Marvel movie, but we have Iron Man. 8.5 out of 10. Classic. The fact they made Iron Man into the most iconic MCU character is unbelievable. Every part of this movie elevated the comic book character. That is so true. So the reason I say the Iron Man is odd being the number one Marvel character in the MCU is, of course, because in like the 90s and such, with animated cartoons and comics and such, Iron Man wasn't the biggest character. In fact, he was a pretty B-plot, B-side type of character who was important, don't get me wrong, especially with like Civil War and stuff and with the Avengers Initiative itself. I love the dedication you have to this Excel spreadsheet and everything. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have a lot of Excel sheets, and this is one of them. But yeah, it's pretty great. I also have my TV shows over here. It's not organized, and I haven't added Mindy Project. I just finished that one. It was great. But anyways, Iron Man is a character who has so much potential, and they casted the most amazing person for it. Of course, Robert Downey Jr. needs no introduction. Definitely one of the actors of our generation, right? This guy is absolutely insane. And Iron Man is just such a good character. I love this movie, especially the older I get, because it has a lot more dark undertones and some underground type of messaging. Because at the beginning, right, this is a kid's superhero movie. At the beginning, Iron Man he's like, he is kidnapped by like Al Qaeda or like ISIS or something, like someone in the Middle East, right? And of course, this was going on during the War on Terror, the big scare, of course, after 9/11 in the United States. And so that's understandable, but that is so weird, right? The first 40, 50 minutes of this movie is him getting kidnapped by terrorists. Insane. And that part's great. I love that part, especially the older I get. I saw this movie as a kid. It's been a while though. And I love the basic plot with the suits and how Iron Man makes this prototype suit, then eventually makes a better suit. And then the bad guy, who, great twist villain, may have spoiled that, oops. But he has the old suit, he finds it, and he uses Iron Man's new heart thing, his like light sensor or whatever that keeps him alive. And Iron Man has to use the old one. So he's in the new suit with the old heart, and the other guy's in the old suit with the new heart. And of course, the new heart's way better in every single way, but that old suit can't deal with ice that well. And eventually that helps Iron Man win. And it's just such a great movie, such a good introduction to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is great. People say this is hands down the best Iron Man movie. Cannot agree more. Spoilers, but it is so great. I love it, and it is a good junk food superhero movie, if I do say so myself. It is outstanding. I love Iron Man. Next up, we got To Kill a Mockingbird. I wanted to watch this one. I forget why. I remember the circumstances of watching this. I was in the living room on the couch, and I was just snuggled up, snug. I was snug like a bug in a rug. There we go. I was just sitting on the couch, enjoying it, having a little snack, and it was cozy, right? To Kill a Mockingbird, of course, classic story, classic book that I remembered from high school. Really wanted to watch this movie because this one hit me hard, right? I was like, this is great. But the movie is an outstanding adaptation from what I remember. It's just great. It's amazing. And it centers around this character named Atticus Finch, who has a little kid, two little kids, I think two, and he's representing this black man in the courts in the deep South back in I think like the 1800s or something. And it doesn't go well if you can't tell. But Atticus Finch, he has the dignity and humility to stand up for the common man, someone who is hated, someone who like what they want to mob against this guy and kill him because it was theorized that he raped a woman. I don't know if I can say that word, but he assaulted a woman. And so he's on trial for this, and all the evidence is stacked for this guy that he's innocent. But eventually, the court, spoiler alerts ish, the court finds that he is guilty, and he is, I think, sentenced to die or something like that. And eventually, I'm getting into spoiler territory, but who cares? This is an old story. And this guy, he gets killed in prison, I think, or on his way to prison by angry white people. And that sucks, right? But Atticus Finch represents this goodness in all of us, I'd say, and how all of us want to be this better person and stand up for what we believe in, even when it's extremely unpopular. Now, what's that other character's name? What's I forget. It's a silly name. What? Atticus Finch, Dale Harris, Sheriff, Miss. It's not Maud, right? Maudie? No. Atticus Finch's daughter name. What's her name? Jean Louise? Jean Louise? Scout. Scout. That's what I thought. Okay. I knew it was something. But Scout's story, I don't really like it. I found her to be an annoying kid who I didn't care about. I more so cared about this court case. Of course, since I'm old and wrinkly and such, I care about that more than the original plot of these kids just wandering around. But it is also cool to see this childlike innocence, and from their perspective, that is fun. But I will say at the end, I didn't get the ending with this guy. This guy was so weird. I was like, what the heck? He was like creeping on Scout or something. I probably interpreted it wrong, but I was like, what the heck? Then these two kids go into the wilderness and someone attacks them. I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? So that ending and such and the kid's story didn't care for. But yeah, only interesting part was the courtroom case. Atticus Finch is the goat. Don't care for Scout, confusing ending. Basically what I just said. Let's go into the next Joker, Folie à Deux. It's starting. Okay. This movie blows. This movie is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. This is my least favorite movie I've ever had the displeasure of watching in my entire existence on this earth. This movie's so freaking bad. I wanna upchuck every time I think about the original Joker movie and how outstanding that was, and then think about what they did with the sequel. It sucks, it sucks, it sucks. Every part of this movie sucks. Joker Folie à Deux, 3 out of 10. The worst thing about sequels, definitely. Courtroom dramas and psychological thrillers. All three of those, man. Oh my gosh. Harley Quinn casting should be a crime. Halloween Ends is a better sequel. I love the Halloween series, and that is so true. I think that Halloween Ends did miles better than the Joker Folie à Deux. Even though that may be an unpopular opinion, Halloween Ends, for those who don't know, is a terrible movie. It's not good. But I'm going to break this down, I guess, in these different avenues that I put in my notes. Worst thing about sequels. Let's throw out everything from the original movie that people liked, that people cared about, and let's just do something completely different. That is never good. The sequels should always build upon the original. Of course, the plot can deviate quite a bit, but they should always have that groundwork and heart from that original movie in there. And for some reason, this movie doesn't. Original Joker is basically like a psychological thriller, I'd say, in some ways. Of course, it's the origin story of the Joker, and it was done really well. He's a psychopath. He kills people. He's crazy. But this whole movie is just him being in a jail cell, being in a jail, and being in a courtroom. And he has a love interest that is the worst thing in the world. The worst, the worst, the worst, worst love interest. Of course, Harley Quinn. Hate her with everything in me. She makes him do bad things, and she sings. And this is a musical. This is a musical, which is so dumb. Uh, it's the first part of the movie is better than the second. It's him in the jail and interacting with the other jailmates was all right. It was an okay. It was okay. I didn't hate it too much, but it was all right. But eventually, the courtroom scenes were just stupid. It did the cliche, I'm representing myself because I'm a crazy person, like Ted Bundy. And that's so dumb. And the whole thing was just him not being funny, charming, or anything, just annoying the courtroom and us too. And Harley Quinn is crazy. She, of course, influences him, but he influences her heavily. And she becomes even more crazy. And it's just a stupid movie. The worst thing I've ever laid my eyes on. I never want to think or see this movie ever again. If I remember correctly, the Rotten Tomatoes is 31%. That's literally what I gave this movie. Holy crap. Wow. Yeah, 3 out of 10. That's the worst freaking movie of all time. Yeah. Terrible, 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 terrible. Nothing good about this movie. Never watch it. Whew. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Let's get into something better, right? Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I gave this one a 7.5 out of 10. Way better than the first. Better plot, better characters, better settings. The whole wedding and secret agent thing was still dumb, though. That is true. That's the thing that's holding this movie back, right? So we leave off, I meant to, not 2020. We leave off with our guy, Tom, right? He, I forgot Preston's in this movie. That was so dumb. But our main guy, Tom, right? Where's he at? Tom. He was a great human character. But him and his wife slash fiance, I forget, they go to Hawaii and there's this wedding and eventually it gets crashed by Sonic and stuff. But it's weird because there's this third party of Secret Service agents and like FBI agents type of deal. And they're just out to like contain Eggman. It's weird. That third party really didn't need to be there, I don't think. I think it would have been cool if Sonic was just like, hey, I'm going to save the day or whatever. But of course, Tails and Knuckles were introduced in this movie and they're amazing. They're so good. I love how Knuckles, of course, is bad, but then eventually he becomes good, and that's amazing. And Tails is the best character of all time. What the heck? I mean, come on, it's Tails. It's so good. But this is a great movie, and I think it exemplifies Sonic as a character and everything that he stands for, that the games stand for, way better, and I do love this movie a lot. Not super memorable. I remember this like ruins type of area. That was amazing. Don't remember a bunch from it, of course, but it was still pretty dang good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Good movie. Kill Bill Volume 1. Oh boy, oh boy. Let's go. 9 out of 10. Best directing ever, literally. Quentin Tarantino's the GOAT. I enjoyed the stylized film. Can't wait for Volume 2. Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2 is about this girl who was almost killed by her ex-boyfriend, husband, whatever. And he left her dead, but she survived and she wants revenge on him. And that's so cool, right? It's a really feminist movie. It's subversion of tropes, as in this tall, beautiful, skinny lady is going up against all these people and killing them and slicing them up. Uma Thurman, of course, did an outstanding job acting. I loved the setting in this movie, and this Japanese setting was great. There's actually an animation scene, which is so good. Like this is out of a Kill Bill movie, right? Like this looks out of a straight up anime movie, but it's not. It's just a sequence in it. It's so beautiful and it's so great. And I love it. Didn't go into like what's it called? Where you have like too much gore, whatever that's called. Uh, but it was bloody enough, I think, and that was cool. Like there wasn't just blood everywhere, but there was blood where they needed to be, and I thought that was cool. It's a great, great, great movie. I enjoyed it. and I saw the second one, and we'll talk about it in a second. And then we got the Boy in the Striped Pajamas, 6 out of 10. Boring and accurate, but it has something. I don't like child POVs, so that might be it, but it wasn't half bad. Just like with To Kill a Mockingbird, I don't really care for when we see things in the eyes of a child when it's done badly. So, basically, this movie, I saw it in middle school and I was like, this is a good movie. And then I wanted to rewatch it and I was like, this movie's not that good. It follows this kid whose dad is an SS officer during World War II for Nazi Germany, and they move right next to a concentration camp. And something I thought was really cool about the movie, a big subtext of it, the main character, I think his name's Bruno, right? What's this movie called? Boy in Striped Pajamas. Yep. The main character, Bruno, I think. Yep. His sister, who maybe Maria, Gretel, maybe I forget her name, but his sister and him are being fed these like Nazi ideologies, and eventually, like he asks her the most simple questions, and she's like, "Well, it's because Hitler, because he's the best." And I thought that was crazy. That's stuff that was actually going on at the time. That was probably the biggest thing I picked up from this watch. But the main characters are so cute. This guy's adorable. Oh my gosh. But he's a Jewish guy in the Holocaust, right? He's going to die. And spoilers. But this is an old movie, old story, everything. The main character, Bruno, joins this guy who I forget his name. But he joins him in the concentration camp. And they are kids. And I think this is a good part of the plot, the childhood innocence part. I think this was done decently well. But they are in the concentration camp and people are rounding up to send them to the gas chambers to die. And these two kids are just in there and they're like, oh, we're going to get a shower. This will be so fun. And they die, and that sucks. And the ending where the mom is retracing Bruno's steps and eventually finds out that he went in and died, heartbreaking, right? So heartbreaking. And it is a sad movie, but it is also not that good. And it is historically inaccurate in so many fundamental ways, which sucks, right? Um, I mean, it does like a decent job at, I guess, portraying what the heck? That's crazy. It does a decent job at portraying this situation, I guess, but it is also fantastical and not realistic in the slightest. But hey, that's okay. It's all right. It is cute. This picture goes hard. Like this is crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whew. Next up, we got Mamma Mia. Here we go again. Love the original Mamma Mia. This movie was good. People like it a lot more than I do. I saw it, and I'll be honest, I was kind of confused on the plot because I'm stupid. This was the first movie where sometimes I watch a movie and I'm just not there. This was one of them. We had a story that is really good. It's a sequel prequel where half the movie is a sequel, half the movie is a prequel, and I love that. And it's basically Donna, is that her name? Donna? Yep. Donna meeting all the dads for Amanda Seyfried, which is amazing. Wish I was on that list. Anyways, and that's cool because like that's her. She's all young and stuff, meeting these guys. It is cute. It is adorable. And the other plot, which is funny because at first the Donna plot I wasn't really in tune to, but eventually got really good. And then I think the Amanda Seyfried plot got a little worse, and I like that prequel a lot more. But the ending's cute. It's an adorable movie, and it's basically celebrating this big island that they had. And Amanda Seyfried opens up this hotel type of thing or something, like revamps it, and everyone comes, and she's like, "This is my mother's dream. This is amazing," and it is really cute. And I definitely have better memories of this movie than that 7 out of 10 rating that I gave. Maybe higher, but it is just adorable. And this sequence was so cute, so cute. It is a great movie. It's pretty dang good, like the first Mamma Mia, but I will always go with that first movie every single time. Next up, we got The Incredible Hulk. Geez, 5 out of 10, boring movie. Subpar casting mixed with underwhelming storylines. The only redeemable part were the outstanding fight scenes. That is so true. The Incredible Hulk is a weird movie. I know more about this movie than I should. Basically, in 2003, excuse me, that was disgusting. Jeez. In 2003, we have this movie called, I think, Hulk or like The Hulk or something. And it has origin story for the Hulk, and it is from what I've heard, a pretty story. And this movie is basically a sequel to that, but it does this thing that movies do a lot that I hate. It reboots it, right? But it doesn't exactly reboot it because it still takes things from that first movie that would make a lot more sense if you knew about it. For example, the Hulk ends up in South America, and here he starts in South America, and there's a lot of things from that first movie. There are some overlap that don't go together, some plot holes and such. But overall, this is a sequel to that movie, which is weird because it's in the MCU and it was the second movie of the MCU. It's its own thing, right? But it is still kind of a sequel. Never saw that first one, which would probably make more sense for this movie. But it is a little tainted in my head because even though I love Edward Norton from Fight Club, I just saw that movie, what, like 10 days before this one? He did not do good in this film. He was bad. I did not enjoy it overall. Oh, oops. It wasn't a good movie. It was boring. It was boring. But the fight scenes were cool, like I said. And Hulk looks great here. I like him here better than the modern Hulk. I don't know if that's a popular opinion. I think modern Hulk looks stupid. Looks so dumb. But old Hulk looks peak. Look at that. That's amazing. And it is a little nostalgic to me because I remember watching the last part of this as a kid when he was up in the airplane. I was like freaking out. I was like, this is so cool. And the Hulk is a great character. Much more beloved back in the day than nowadays, I would say. I think nowadays he's more antiquated because the MCU doesn't feature any new Hulk movies because of the whole Warner Bros. Fiasco and how they own the rights to the character. So they can't really make new movies. And therefore Hulk is just an Avengers character, and I haven't seen the Avengers, like the newer ones, and so I don't know much about him, which sucks. But this was not a good movie. I didn't enjoy it. It was boring. It was a slog fest. I was washing dishes halfway through. I was not there. But next up, we got No Country for Old Men. This is so true. 8 out of 10. Maybe too smart for me. Having a weird headache, sicky type of day. Nevertheless, I enjoyed this deep film. Good thing I put that. Yeah. This may have been the period where I was like really sick. Because I was sick like a while ago. Jeez. Was that back in January? It may have been. That was forever ago. But I was not feeling good whenever I was watching this movie. But this is... I kind of forget the plot. Funnily enough, this main character, Anton... Is that even his name? No, he's... Is that him? Anton? That's his name? Whatever his name is. The psychopath, right? He is a killer and he just murders people for no reason. But something I really liked about this movie and something that I remembered, something that a lot of people talk about with this movie is the sense of justice, fairness, right? This guy, even though I may have just said he just randomly kills people, but it doesn't seem like he randomly kills them. It always seems like there's maybe a reason or he gives them a chance to get out. Of course, this famous scene of him in a convenience store with this guy, he flips a coin and he's like, call it, if you call it wrong, you're going to die. And it's crazy, right? But don't remember much from this one. It was cool. It was really cool. I enjoyed it, but can't really put my finger on too much of the plot. It's worth a rewatch for sure. For sure. Next up we got Elvis, 6 out of 10. I mean, it's all right. Austin Butler did well as Elvis, but I didn't care for the Colonel. Should have been retooled to be more glamorous, if that's even possible. Yeah, so this is a biopic of Elvis. I think it missed the mark with a lot of things. I think I didn't like the way that they took with this character, because even though it is like structurally sound as a biopic, it's, you know, you get these different stages of fame and the troubles that come with it. That is cool. But I should probably put the frickin' year, right? 2022. What? 2022. Okay. Yeah, it was a cool movie. I liked it a lot more towards the beginning, but this Colonel character is played by Tom Hanks, who I love, of course. It's just like the worst character ever. Don't care about him. And in a lot of these biopics, you'll see plots where someone's screwed over by like a rich, greedy manager. This is like the whole movie, and I didn't care for that. I think it was still cute though. It was still good. I would have liked more Elvis action though. That's something that I missed. I think there's like this thing from Hawaii that wasn't even featured in this movie, and that made me sad because I think that's like the biggest Elvis thing ever. But yeah, it was a cute movie, but it wasn't my favorite. 6 out of 10. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Oh boy. Okay. So I wanted to do only new movies this year slash movies I haven't seen in so long. This was the exception. Across the Spider-Verse. I fell asleep during it because I was watching it with my friend Creed. Creed, I don't know if you're on here, but my boy Creed, him and I were watching it, and it was late, and I fell asleep at parts. Couldn't remember the ending. Period. But this movie's so good. It is 2.5 hours of animated Spider-Man perfection. I love these movies, and it does a really good job, this one, with the action. I feel like that first movie had some good action, but it was in these small clumps. But this movie is just spread out throughout. The entire thing is just action upon action upon action, and I loved it. It was so good. I adore this movie. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is a movie that everyone should see. It is a top 10 for me. Top 10. I'll say it. It is just so good, and I love the character of Miles Morales, especially like with the video games and such. Spider-Man 1 and 2, and Spider-Man Miles Morales, just such a good character. Love him, and that was a great movie. Jeez, love it. I mean, what else can be said? Spider-Man, the longest animated movie of all time. Miles Morales, outstanding movie, deserves all the praise. Could not say it better. Footloose 1984. I remember this one like yesterday. Oh my gosh. 8.5 out of 10. Certified Hood Classic. I think I like the 80s aesthetic. Probably the most likable protagonist I've seen this year. I sure do love me some Footloose. Footloose has always been a story that is in my heart. I was in the musical in high school. Love this story to death. It's so good. It's so simple. This guy named Ren McCormick comes to this new city, but and like, sorry, I'm having a brain aneurysm. Unlike the original city he's from, which is Chicago, this new city is a small town named Beaumont, where this pastor named Pastor Shaw hates how kids are getting down, right? They're all like boogieing and dancing and stuff, and he's like, "That's not happening. We're banning dancing." So the whole town bans dancing, and he has this grip along with some guys who are just like him, of this like small town. They do whatever he says. And Ren comes in, and he's like, and of course the kids are rebelling and such, and Ren does as well. But Ren's like, let's make this bigger. We want to have a dance, and everyone's freaking out. They're like, oh, Pastor Shaw will never say yes to that. And eventually, Pastor Shaw turns his heart around and turns a corner and agrees to the dance, which is great. Of course, the pastor's played by Barney Stinson's dad, which I love. He's a great actor. But it's just a cute movie. It's adorable. I always want to watch this one. This is a comfort movie for me now. I adore it. Kill Bill Volume 2, 8 out of 10. Pretty dang good. I believe I like Volume 1 more. Not sure if that's an unpopular opinion, but whatever the case, this one's good too. Kill Bill Part 2 featured a lot more Bill, and it had a lot more slow scenes, which were cool, but I can't really remember like the ending too much, which is funny. The ending of Volume 2 I have or Volume 1 I have in my head, but 2 not as much. But yeah, this was cool. She went and like trained with the samurai and stuff and got this sword. And eventually she, spoiler alert, kills Bill. And it's great. It's a great movie. Not as good as first, but watching these two back to back, I would not blame you at all. This is such a good movie. Uma Thurman, so good. And I can't wait to watch Pulp Fiction later this year. But it is a beautiful, beautiful movie. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Five Nights at Freddy's, 5.5 out of 10. Honestly, amateur and sloppy. Little Brother plot was dumb. The animatronics feel underutilized, surprisingly. This one is a skip. Skip, skip, skip. Every day for Five Nights at Freddy's. Weirdest plot line. So basic premise of Five Nights at Freddy's, of course, is the security guard is looking over this animatronic, like, like pizzeria. Yeah, pizzeria. And he's making sure that the animatronics do not misbehave, but of course they do, because it's like, oh, what are they going to do? They're going to move around. They are, because they are controlled by dead kids. That is the whole plot, right, of like the whole series and such. But this movie has this weird thing with, uh, what's his name? Geez, uh, Five Nights Freddy's, 2023. Josh Hutcherson, Mike Schmidt, of course. He has this little brother who got kidnapped, and it keeps like flashing back to that, and he's having some big trauma. That should not have been in this movie. This movie should have been more lighthearted and more fun with the animatronics, with a little bit of that devious side to it. That was the stupidest plot I've ever seen in my life, other than Joker Folie à Deux, of course. Dumber plot. But yeah, it was not a good movie. But Matthew Lillard coming back as a guidance counselor made me feel old. I saw Scream back in the day, and I was like, "What the heck?" He's old now, but yeah, he's getting up there. Bad movie. Iron Man 2, 7.5 out of 10. Another Iron Man. This one was good. Not as good as the first. Ivan was not a star villain. We got War Machine and Black Widow though. Yeah, this one definitely sets up the Avengers more to what they will become. It introduces War Machine and Black Widow, who are great characters. And this one's better than 3. I'll go ahead and say spoilers. But this movie is just fun. Like, you have this character named Ivan who he has these like weird whips and stuff with like electricity, and he's like going after Iron Man. And it's just cool. And his plot with this like evil entrepreneur is great. The ending's amazing, and the dome looking thing. It is a great movie. Iron Man 2 is pretty dang good. I like it. Psycho, 10 out of 10. This movie, oh man, perfect. Norman Bates is such an interesting character, such an outstanding director, and acting, holy crap, perfection. With a lot of movies like this, it takes me a while to really get in the saddle and realize what I'm watching and the brevity of it, right? But immediately, I was hooked. I was hooked because I knew, of course, in this movie, spoilers to a super old movie, the main character dies, which is crazy, right? Played by uh Jodie? I think Jodie. Janet Leigh, my bad. Janet Leigh, who is the mother of Jamie Lee Curtis, who's in the Halloween movies, but she's so good. And this movie basically, there's a shower scene like 40 minutes in, and she dies. And Norman Bates is met by, I think, like her sister and boyfriend or something, and it is so good. Eventually, what we thought was the mother, or Mrs. Bates, Norman's mom, doing the killing. Eventually, it's found out that she's dead, and it's Norman the whole time dressing up as her. I kind of suspected this throughout the whole movie. I'm not sure if I heard a spoiler of that like way back when, but Norman Bates is just such a good character, and this actor is underrated, so underrated. Anthony Perkins did so good. Just an outstanding actor. Like, no more can be said. Rest in peace to this dude. He's dead, but he did so good in this role. I mean, dude, like, look at that. That's scary as crap. That's crazy. But Psycho was a 10 out of 10. My first and I think only 10 out of 10 of this year. I loved it. I immediately looked up videos. I was addicted to it. It was so good. Heat, 7.5 out of 10. I can tell it's a good movie, but it kind of dragged on for me. I don't like long movies. I couldn't really focus. Bank Heist scene was outstanding, though. Baby Driver's better. Yeah, it definitely reminded me of Baby Driver, of course, with the bank heists and the getaways and stuff. But it was a good movie. The plot I wasn't really sticking to. At the time, I wasn't really sure how to watch long movies. Now I have a better system. But it was 3 hours long, and I was just tapping my foot the whole time. It was good. Don't get me wrong. Excuse me. Heat was good, but it was I think it's a Scorsese film, right? Let me check.
It definitely had that type of feel. No, it wasn't. Oh, it had Robert De Niro in it. Al Pacino. Okay, never mind. And Val Kilmer, of course. Uh, yeah, it had that type of feel, but it was an action movie more than a mafia type of movie. And it was good, but that bank heist scene's the only thing I can remember in the entire movie. I need to rewatch it because I just don't remember it, and that's okay. Onward, 7 out of 10. Cute, kind of teared up at the end. I don't have a brother, so I couldn't really relate, but I still felt it. A little clunky storytelling though. Yeah, so Onward is it's an okay movie. I remember it pretty dang well, but it is so cute because Chris Pratt and Tom Holland, of course, are just on this road trip trying to revive their dad. They do this magical spell. It's a magical world full of like elves and stuff. They do the spell to try and revive their dad, but they only revived his pants, and so they're like they're carrying him along and just spending time with him and trying to revive him and going on this big epic quest. And it has very anticlimactic ending in a good way. Like doing an anticlimactic ending is amazing when you really pull it off. And this movie did, and it focuses more on this brotherly aspect than this like fatherly aspect, I guess, because they're this whole trip they're trying to revive their father, doing it fast, fast, fast. But eventually they realize that their brothership is way more important than that, and they should live more in the moment. And I love that message. It is cute though. It is really cute. I liked Onward a lot. Drive My Car, 8.5 out of 10. Subtle, nothing in this film jumps out at you. That's the best part. Great character development, even better message. I heard Shea Phillips Productions way back in the day say Drive My Car was his favorite movie. And I was like, huh, that's weird. That's cool. It's a Korean film. My first foreign language film of the year. I love foreign language films, especially when I have enough time to read the subtitles. They're great. But this movie simply, this guy's going through a, I think, breakup or something like that, or like a death of a loved one, something. And he's a director for a play. And every night this girl drives him around, and they just grow a bond, and they find out they have a lot more in common than what they thought. And it is just kind of a heartwarming story. A rom com, but not in a romantic way, more so in a platonic type of way. And I really did enjoy that. It is a great movie. It is a good watch. It is a little vulgar though, with like the sexual themes and such, which I don't love, but it is still really good, and I enjoyed this one quite a bit. Next up, we got Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. 8 out of 10. I had high expectations, and this one sort of delivered. Not a masterpiece, in my opinion, but I do love the story. Jim Carrey's only serious role was great. That's what it's called. But Eternal Sunshine, people have called this the best movie of all time. Like, yeah, 92, 8, 8. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. But, I thought I didn't really, I, the message is to enjoy your time rather than trying to forget about people or lament your time spent with someone. But I liked that message. It was cool. It was great. But some of the story didn't really jump out to me, and it wasn't my favorite. It was really cool with this premise of trying to erase your mind, going through like this new age type of science. And the actors I remember were great. Yeah, Kirsten Dunst, Elijah Wood, Mark Ruffalo, they all did outstanding. The three of them were like in a bunch of the movie together, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, this movie's great. Always want to watch this one again though. It's really good. Really, really, really good. The Bodyguard, 7 out of 10. Another comfort watch. Decent, nothing spectacular, but this is a cute little film. Nothing groundbreaking, but it didn't have to be. Good star pairing. This, of course, is the Kevin Costner Whitney Houston movie where she sings I Will Always Love You and I Have Nothing and I'm Every Woman, songs like that. It is really, really, really cute. It is adorable. And it's not a good movie, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it probably more than most people. It's this girl who's basically Whitney Houston, a star singer who needs a bodyguard, Kevin Costner, and he falls for her. And the ending's great because like it's cheesy. It's like this award show, and this guy's there to assassinate her, but Kevin Costner's like, pew pew pew, I got you, you're dead. And I thought that was cute. It was a pretty adorable movie, and I do like it quite a bit. Thor. This movie is all right. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Kind of a boring movie. Thor doesn't do much. Asgard has some pretty good development, though. I wish there was more Thor in this movie for sure. Because Chris Hemsworth does a great job. He looks weird nowadays with that long hair and stuff. Like he just looks like a baby, I think, right? It's funny. But it was a pretty decent movie. He looks awkward, man. He just, I don't know why. I love Chris Hemsworth, don't get me wrong. And Tom Hiddleston's great, of course. But Chris Hemsworth looks weird in this. Maybe it's because of the suit or something. I'm not exactly sure. But anyways, it's like the Thor origin story ish. He has a dad and brother, and his dad's like, Thor, you're gonna get the throne, and Loki's like, I want the throne. Then Thor goes to the Earth and meets this girl who is what's her name? I'm blanking on everyone's name. Natalie Portman, Jane Foster, of course. Natalie Portman, and they fall in love, right? And it is a cute little story. I keep calling every story cute because I'm just reminiscing. But it's an okay movie. I don't think the Thor movies so far have been that spectacular at all. But this one's all right. Something that I will take away from this, though, is this is kind of the moment where I thought, oh shoot, the MCU really is, it really is paving a way for this good series. And Thor was an okay movie. I enjoyed it. Next up, we got United 93. Oh my gosh, 9 out of 10 sleeper hit. Fantastic movie, in my opinion. Never thought a 9/11 movie could be so good. I enjoyed this one a ton. United 93 is a weird movie. It came out in, I think, 2006. And it's basically about 9/11 and that third plane that came along, or fourth, sorry, that was headed for the White House, presumably, and how everyone on board found out about the terrorist attacks and came together, banded together, and beat the terrorists, basically. Because everyone dies, sadly, which is a funny way to end a movie. Sorry, it's a tragedy, and that sucks, but that's always a funny way to talk about a movie ending. Everyone dies, but that is what happens. But basically, this movie, this plane was going towards like the White House, probably, and everyone banded together and beat the terrorists and drove the plane into the ground, which is cool. It saved a lot of lives, and it was very heroic, and it is tense throughout the entire movie. But that ending was explosive and worth every second we spent on that like slow plot development. But it is cool. Like we find in real time what it's like from ground control to talk to the planes throughout the 9/11 attacks. Of course, we see the first plane. It's like, oh, this weird accident just happened. You know, just carry along, whatever. The second plane, it's like, oh, shoot, we are actually being attacked. And that was crazy. But I did like this movie quite a bit. United 93 is a movie that not a lot of people will watch ever. I'm not sure how big it was. It made 76 million. That's crazy, actually. That's a lot. Its budget was 15. I mean, yeah. Uh, but it is a really cool film. Too soon, maybe, but it was a cool film. I liked it. What the heck? Oh, the cast. Yeah. It was like that caught my eye. Bohemian Rhapsody, 8 out of 10. Good biopic. More interesting than Elvis. That's what I thought the entire time. I do love me some Freddie Mercury, so this movie is fun to watch. Bohemian Rhapsody doesn't have much substance to it, but I enjoyed it because it is glamorous. It is what I wanted Elvis to be, basically. It exemplifies every aspect of Freddie Mercury that we know. This gay, glittery icon, right? And Rami Malek does such a great job portraying him the entire time. I love this movie. It's great. I really did like it. And it shows the conflict and the turbulations between every band member. But of course, when Freddie Mercury gets diagnosed with AIDS, everyone comes together and loves on each other again, which is always good. The Live Aid scene, oh my gosh, I remember that one so well. It was amazing. This movie's good. It's really good. And a lot of people liked it for good reasons. Some people hated it. Don't really get them. But that's that movie. The Garfield movie really ending off this month on a high note. 7.5 out of 10. Really enjoyable, especially the beginning. Later portion suffers from that high stake kids movie stuff that I'm not into. It was really funny and cute though. When I say the high stakes kid movie stuff, I basically mean like these characters that are cute and we would probably enjoy them more in a low key setting. They need to save the freaking world, basically. Garfield, like it's so cute at the beginning. I love this beginning of the movie and like this. It's so adorable. I wish they spent more time with the dude. John, is that his name? Like they really should have, but eventually they go into this plot of like Garfield's actual dad and this random guy. We're gonna save the world, and that's cute and stuff, but wasn't really for me at the end. But it definitely had a lot of promise, and I enjoyed the way that this movie went about things. It is cute. It is adorable. I loved it. It was really funny. Who was it by? Was it by Illumination? That's what it looks like. Let me check. Oops. Is there a way to just Sony? It was Sony. Yeah, yeah. And Sony does great with their wait. Does Sony have Sony doesn't have an animation studio, right? Columbia Pictures. I guess they shut down the actual animation studio, but they distributed it through Sony. Anyways, good movie. It was really good, and I enjoyed it. That is that for the end of this rant. Sorry if I was rambling or ranting a little quickly at the end. My throat is hurting. So, I just want to get out of here, right? No, but I appreciate you guys so much for this time you spending with me. I appreciate you all for coming along. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you when I do February eventually.